Loud loud with the Lord, Captain Rob, full aboard, free of charge, can't afford to miss it, we won't be ignored. No need for knocking, come on in, bring your family and your friends, got you geeked and tuning in, you two watching or listening. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is, it's the Lord. Nelson, that is, yeah, on Live and Loud with the Lord. And listen, this guy that we have today, a super special guest. He's so talented. He's such a great musician. He's such a great guitarist. Whether it's in the studio or on stage, he gets out there and he handles his business. He's been doing this for a minute, and he's a professional, ladies and gentlemen. He's a professional, and he can play with anybody and do anything that he wants to do. So we're going to get into his story a little bit and just have a good time and a good conversation. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Curt Taylor. Yeah, I got to clap him up.
How's it going, Lord?
Yeah. Look, he's going to be real.
Great to see you, my brother.
He's going to be real cool. We're going to see if we get the coolness out of him. Look, he just...
We'll see how cool we can get when it's about 85, 90 degrees.
Oh, man, indeed. So, Curt, I always like to ask my guests 2 questions to start things off. The first question is, where are you from?
Well, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
My pop was in sales, so he bopped back and forth a good little bit early in life, and I settled in Philadelphia when I was about 6 or so. So that's home to me. Mm-hmm. Grew up in Philadelphia, came to Atlanta about 98 or so, mm-hmm. and I've been here ever since. But I'm Philadelphian.
Well, look at so. Okay, so what's the best thing about being from Philadelphia?
I would say that it gave me that sense of family. Philly is very, very family oriented. I've got friends in Philadelphia that I consider my brothers. I have friends, right. Here and everywhere. But I mean, these are friends from growing up, little kid age and stuff. That's where my parents are. If you're an Eagles fan, you know what family is. It's all those kind of things, and you can't get away from Philadelphia without talking about the food.
Right.
Give me a good cheesesteak. I'm a happy guy, but I seem to only get them when I go back home.
I got you. What's so funny, right? And so I kind of knew, it was Pennsylvania. I didn't know it was Philadelphia, just Philadelphia. So I was going to ask that question. Steelers or the Eagles. And, you really don't have to answer that. I'm a Steeler fan, like Bones is a Steeler fan. I'm a definitely Steeler fan.
I know. We talked a lot of smack. But in fact, in our band, we had two Steeler fans, yeah. A Patriot fan, and me.
Right.
But I think we have the latest Super Bowl, but who's counting?
Right. No doubt. You do. Hey, you can't dispute that one. So, you are such a great guitarist, my brother. You're such a great musician. How important is music to you?
Music is almost everything. It's the basis of what I consider myself, what I consider my soul.
Right.
I know a lot of times I'll try to smolder the fire because it's like a fire inside your gut. It's always brewing. Sometimes it's blazing, sometimes it's a little more subdued.
Yeah.
But every time I pick up the guitar, I may have put it down for a little while, but when I pick it up, I just remember how much I love music, how much I love writing songs, how much I love entertaining folks and things like that. And that, always puts me in a happy place, always puts me in a safe space, outside of that, like I said, music and my family, I'd say there's not a whole lot that is ever going to top that,
Got you, man. I feel you on that one, man. Most definitely. So what was the first band you were in?
First band I was in was back in Pennsylvania in about, I guess that was in early 90s. We were called Beggar's Legacy.
Okay.
And we were horrible. But, we were playing tunes at the time and trying to write songs. But, we were original. We were one of the few bands that were doing, all of our own stuff, trying to crack into that scene. And, that was fun. That gave some experience. And I got to meet some people.
Gotcha.
Then when I came down to Georgia, started bopping around in local bands here, and again meeting people. That's initially where I ran into Bones.
Right.
And we had a really decent scene here, and this would be probably 2000. Let me see, 2002, 2003, somewhere in that neighborhood. There was a decent scene where, bands were all getting along. We were all doing shows together. We were, supporting each other, getting out there and doing it. No one was really breaking or making it big. I think the bands that broke around that time around here, like, I don't know if you remember a band called Injected. They had a decent push and they did pretty well. A couple of others. And that, kind of played itself out. And I was playing in another local band called Smash Machine when I met Bobby and hooked up with Primer 55 and, went on from there. But yeah, the very first band, again, the name was Beggar's Legacy, but, not anything to brag about or write home about, or not anything that even have any history or any memorabilia.
I got you. But we all listen. We all have our start from somewhere. We all got to get started somewhere. So when I was looking at your information and doing my little research, so I saw Turbo Taylor in the Riff Raff. So I thought that might have been the first one. So where is that in the lineage of?
No, that's what I'm trying to do now. I've written a whole bunch of music, and I've got about an album's worth of material recorded.
Okay, got you.
Different players on it, different singers on different songs, things like that I'm real excited about.
Right.
Just over the last couple of years with everything going on,
Indeed.
I don't know a vehicle to release it. I don't know whether to try to put a band together.
Right.
This is the first time with this project that I've, sung some songs, so it's a whole conglomeration of stuff, but I finally got to work with some people that I really, really wanted to.
Awesome.
I've been talking to my buddy Cleve here in Atlanta. We've been trying to work together for years and years, and finally got to do a couple of songs with him. Had Tuck Smith was on one of the songs. My singer from the band I was in, my first band that I played in here in Atlanta, sang a couple of songs on it and did a bang up job. So that was like a reunion of sorts.
Right.
And like we always talk about, it's like family. I mean, I met this dude in a gym, right around the same time that I met my wife.
Right.
So, it's pretty cool. That's a lot of, I'm not going to say the year, but it was a lot of years. So.
No, man, listen, we continue to move on and do what we love, man. It's just, it's just in us, man, and, so as far as right now with the bands that you've been in, let's go ahead and talk about them. So you've been in Killer in the Workplace. Okay. Primer 55, Turbo Taylor in the Riff Raff right now, and also Bones. So what are those? Am I missing anything other than you said Beggar's Legacy?
No,
right?
that's it. Those were the three bands, three touring band, three: Primer, Killer in the Workplace, and Bones that toured. And then now again doing the Turbo Taylor and the Riff Raff. That's my stab at doing a solo project and getting some stuff out. So
what's been the best vibe of whatever band? Which has been the best band? I know you might not want to say this one or that one.
No, there's real highlights in both of them. Incredible highlights. And there's been some low times in all of them.
Gotcha.
In Primer we toured a lot, and it was a good time. That unit of the band, in my opinion, was great. Being able to headline the Viper Room on my birthday was definitely a highlight.
Indeed.
Killer in the Workplace was born out of Primer 55 kind of winding down and Bobby's time with Soulfly ending. So you bring Bones into that mix, and on paper, that band should have been big. Should have, if it was promoted properly, if everything had stars aligned and things worked out the way they should.
Right.
Because it wasn't the band, it wasn't the songs, it wasn't much of anything else that held us back. But for some reason, it didn't happen, and when it's not happening, then, as you know, personalities can start,
right,
coming into play, and, it's not happening because of this, not happening because of that, or you're doing this, you're not doing this, and things like that. And, that one fizzled out. And it stunk, that was good. I remember some real fun times touring with Kill in the Workplace too.
Yeah.
And then from that band ending, Bones and I kind of stuck together.
Right.
And then we formed that band that would be Bones.
Right.
And I never had a problem with it being called Bones, him being the focal point. All I ever said to him was, you just be Bones.
Right. Right.
Was just by making that statement, as anybody that knows Bones, it's not negative. That's a blessing and a curse. It's like revving up a Maserati to fly down the road, but there's a brick wall not too far down, and you got to figure out whether to go around it, over it, or maybe through it.
Oh man, listen, we just love him, man. We just love him. It's just funny, man. Listen, I laugh because I'm so visual. I'm just picturing everything you're saying, and I'm just picturing him. And I can't wait. And I'm going to say it again to him. I'm waiting for him to get on the show. I asked him a couple of times. He's one of the few that I've asked more than twice. I asked everybody twice because even with you, we didn't get together at first, but I already had my stuff ready for you. I was just like, man, whenever Curt's coming, boom, it's there.
Good man.
I was ready.
Well, you've got a lot of people on here that Bones has been with and played with and stuff, so he's probably waiting for all that to happen so he can come back with the last word or the tip-top answer.
That's hilarious. See, I didn't even think about that. That's funny, man. But no, it's all love. Because it's going to be all love. But I have nothing but love for everybody, man. Miss me with all the madness, man. When he comes on, we're going to have a good time, laugh, talk about being younger and those kind of things, and talk about the music, man. So it's all it's all love.
But like I say, back to your original question, like I said, every band had huge highlights, man. It wouldn't have me sitting right here talking to you, without any of those bands. And every one of those experiences, good and bad and indifferent, brought us to this point, 100%. So like I said, it's I can truly sit here and say it was an honor to share the stage with Bones. It was an honor to share the stage with Bobby Burns, all that stuff. It's, taught me a million,
Man, it's all love, man. It's just good conversation between family, brothers, man. That's what it is.
And it's all family. That's the other thing too. I haven't talked to Bones in a while.
Yeah.
But I still talk to Bobby, and he was one of the people. It was weird actually, because we haven't played together in a while. Right. We reconnected on a personal level some years ago.
Yeah.
And I'd say it was probably about 3 years ago. I was going through some real rough stuff, really weird mental stuff and just some heavy stuff.
Gotcha.
And he was there,
right?
And he didn't have to be. He didn't have to be, but picked up the phone and he answered, and he was there as a huge support to me. And today, it's great. And I am happy to extend the same thing to him. He was going through some stuff, and I did my best to be there for him. So, like I said, that's the stuff as we get older is what matters.
Yes, sir.
The music is awesome. Music is important. It's a wonderful thing, but we all can do music. We all can make music. Right. Relationships, family, that stuff. That's as, if not more important,
I got you, man. So, I wanted to ask, you were one of the first people that I was going to ask this question, because I saw that you played some bass also, but, me meeting you were playing lead guitar. So I always ask, because me not playing an actual instrument, I always look at you guys like, man, how easy is it to go from playing lead guitar to bass and back? And, most people are like, well, it's not that hard. It's really, because a lot of times bass players, I can remember Sean Delson, Rich Sim always talking noise and laughing at Sean about playing bass. So I was just like, what's the deal with that? What I'm saying? Why do bass players catch so much flack? Me, I like the bass, of course. I'm a brother, man. I like that bass. I like that pump, But so was it easy to go from one to another, or is it?
It wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. Because when I joined Primer, I was playing guitar. I was playing second guitar. Right. And did that for about a year. We couldn't keep a bass player. So at a certain point, we had a pretty big tour coming up, like a 6-week tour coming up, and couldn't lock anybody in. I said, I'll do it, because originally Primer was just a 4-piece. We were touring as a 5-piece.
Yeah.
So adapting those songs from guitar to bass wasn't that hard. I just had to learn to fill the gaps.
Gotcha.
You know, playing guitar, you're playing for the song, you're giving the accents, you're, you know, there, but kind of surrounding everything.
Right.
Bass, you're just holding it down. Okay, you know, I never had a vision of being a flashy lead bassist or anything like that. So you play for the song, but you fill all those gaps and learn how to lock in with the drummer. And there you go. And I'll tell you, from playing bass, I probably for 3 years between the time in Primer and then I only played bass and Killer in the Workplace. I probably 3.5 years, I did nothing but play bass. So when I went back to guitar, when Bones and I started Bones, songwriting was coming to me from a whole different perspective. I was hearing things, you know, completely differently. And there's a couple of songs on Bones on the record that were actually conceived on bass.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and you know, and with bass in mind and things like that. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Everybody should do it.
Okay.
You know? Everybody should do it, because it definitely gave me a bigger perspective on the song. Gave me a bigger perspective on looking at everything, and definitely a better perspective on dealing with a drummer. Yeah,
because I was asking Corey the same thing, Corey Lowry, and I was like, Corey, because you know he's playing lead on for Seether, and I was like, you know, when I always knew Corey as being that bass guy, but you know, when I had him on the show, we just had a great conversation. I've had everybody's been a great conversation. Right. But he was just telling me, you know, about it. He's like, man, yeah, I can do this and go from here and from there. I was just like, wow, because you guys are just super talented in what you do, man. And I'm just thankful that music has brought me so many talented people like you guys just to talk to and learn from. Because I watch you guys and I listen to you guys, man, more than you guys would probably even think, because you guys are really, you're doing it, you're in it. And I'm always like, wow, I learned, man. I'm telling you, I like to run my mouth, bro. I don't have to talk all the time. You know, I like to listen also. And I'm just like, wow, man, okay, that's dope right there. Oh, man, that's awesome right there. Okay, that's how that goes right there. And just like you were saying earlier, man, having conversation or the different personalities in a band. You know, me as being like where I was just, you know, I was this rap artist, I was doing this, and you know, it's more like it's me handling my business. It's me. It's not, you know, I've been in a group, you know, a couple groups, but it's like, man, the personalities of a band, everybody's got to kind of jive and be in, you know, concert with each other, man. You know, not just on stage, off stage a lot of the times. And I know a lot of people don't get along at times, but man, it helps everything out. It makes everything more beautiful. You know?
You're off stage a whole lot more than you're on stage, especially when you're on tour, you know?
Indeed, man. No doubt. So what do you enjoy most about playing guitar?
Being able to build something, being able to just sit there and noodle and do whatever, and then have an idea or something come through, and have something from a germ of an idea to turn into a bigger idea and possibly turn into a song. Like I get most excited when I can get an idea, and then all of a sudden I'll hear guitar parts, I'll hear a bass line, so I can go there. And now with the beauty of technology, I can go right to my phone. I can put down a guitar, I can put down a bass, I can plunk with my fingers on a drum machine and have a decent sounding demo of something. And then once that's there, I can hear what the rest of the band, what the rest of the parts, you know, should be, or what it would grow into. That's the most rewarding part. If to answer your question, that's what does it for me now. It doesn't do it for me to sit and practice for 3 hours or learn 50 cover tunes or anything like that. I mean, I still love to jam along with songs and things like that, but yeah, the actual creation and then seeing what's happened. I mean, the proudest thing I've done is that Bones record. You know, seeing that from germ to seed to, you know, actually being put out there was very cool. You know, and like I said, I'm super proud of that.
So on that album, the majority of that album, did you produce that album?
I produced the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. It is a great album, man. Most definitely. Most definitely.
And like I said, that was the other thing. It's like a baby, when you're hearing everything and there for every single thing, and then taking others' ideas. We actually recorded it in Kennesaw, in Orlando, and parts in Suwannee over here.
Right.
And then getting input from those engineers and from those guys and stuff too. Tim in Orlando was really instrumental with some of the ideas. You hear stuff from a drummer's perspective. Josh at Virtuo in Kennesaw, same kind of thing. And it was cool. It's neat to get validation,
right?
Because we all want to think that everything we think is great, right. But you want to get some of that bounce back in the guys in the band. Bones, to his credit, had a great ear for the song. As a rapper, you would think that rappers just want to verse the whole time,
right.
tons of verse, chorus, whatever. Right. But he understands the old "don't bore us, get to the chorus" kind of thing. And sometimes he'll take the chorus and say, "Hey, we need this right in the beginning," and it would build. So, like I say, for all the stuff that comes with it, those are the things that I really appreciate about him.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I just remember Rich saying, let the song breathe, and just like, man, it makes so much sense, because even when I'm doing my thing now with myself and Matt Acevedo, Plastic Catastrophe right now, and Matt's just amazing musician. And I always tell Matt, I was like, no, Matt, right here, man. I said, I didn't say anything right here. I just want to let it breathe. I said, I can, because it always is in my head that Rich said that. He was just like, yeah, certain times you just got to let the music, just let it breathe. And I was just like, I got you. I feel you on that. So when I listen to music, I can truly zone out. And I've always said that music is a time machine, truly a time machine to me, because, playing certain music can take me back to places. So when you hear music of the past, does it drop you back in those times mentally?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a closet. Well, not even closet. I listen to Hair Nation a ton. I lived in LA in 88 and 89, I saw that, and it takes me right back there. You know what I mean? And you can relate as being in our quote unquote genre, being out there in LA, hair band central, right? I wasn't exactly blending in with the crowd, but but that's where my influence is, my heart. That's what built what we do. How I played today. So anytime I'm listening to that stuff, I remember that, or I remember high school. I remember that kind of thing. But it always takes me back. And the sad part is now listening to those 90s songs. If I'm listening to Sirius and they have a station called Turbo, I'm always waiting for them to play one of our songs again. But but in the meantime, I hear a lot of these songs of friends of ours that are playing in it. It reminds me of those times and the things and stuff like that. You hear a Drowning Pool song, and I remember cutting up with them on their bus in St. Petersburg, and all that kind of stuff. So it does. It takes me wherever I allow it to go. And music never, I don't get sad about music, even the sad songs, music's to uplift, music's to make us feel good.
Yes, indeed, man. I listen, I feel the same way. Just when you talk about being in that scene, and I just remember I talked to Benji Webb, a few shows ago with Benji was, same kind of thing, just, coming from where he was coming from and the stuff that he liked and he gravitated to. It's not like you didn't like other music. It's just what was in you and what you were feeling. And that's a beautiful thing to say, man, most definitely. So in your opinion, what are the key elements of a great metal song?
Loud. No. To big amps. No, to me, it's about the songs. So there's got to be some kind of ear candy there, whether it's a great riff, whether it's a neat chorus, whether it's a catchy vocal phrase or line or something like that. That's what it's got to be for me. I tend to stay away from or shy away from the pummeling kind of stuff. If if it's beating me over the head a little bit too much, I can't find or I can't hear that groove in it.
Right.
But, something like, you take a great Pantera song or something like that you take the elements of their better known or great songs, and you'll find all those things. It's loud. It's got a lot of groove. It's got melody to it, So I'd say those things.
Indeed, man. That groove is important, man. I love a melody, man. That's me.
I'm by no means an expert on metal, on super heavy stuff, but that's what I listen for.
You're an expert on what you like, man. That's why I asked the question. You are an expert to me, so that's what it is, man. So I understand your humbleness. I understand. I get it. It's all love, though. So, riff, lick, or solo, which excites you more?
Riff,
yeah.
Yep. Because for me, when I can come up with a riff that sounds original and sounds, it. You know what I mean? You can be playing around and you're like, shit, that sounds like Smoke on the Water. You know what I mean? Or it sounds like this, or it sounds like this. And then, when you get something that's original, then you can build on that. So that's a high all unto its own. It really is. So definitely a riff.
So what is your most favorite guitar you own and why?
Ooh.
You got like 1,000 of them. Look at them. You're looking at them right now. I see you looking at them.
Golly. It's funny because I used to be the guy that never got attached to his guitars, because in the old days when you don't have money, you can't get attached to it because you might have to take it to the store and cash it in and do something, do all these things. But luckily I haven't had to do that for a minute. I would say I've got a 1998 Les Paul Standard that I had out on the road with us when we were playing in Bones. That one is, I'd say, in the top two. Probably the other one is my my Les Paul Gothic, because it's been with me through Primer, and I did a lot of the Bones stuff with it too.
Gotcha.
So I'd say those two. They're both Les Pauls.
All right, got you. That's love. All right, so we got to get to the last question. So maybe I might want to extend it, but anyway. So far in your musical career, what has been your moment of Nirvana?
It isn't. Definitely isn't like a 18-hour van ride. Okay, yeah, I would have to say actually the very last Bones show that we did was in my hometown of Philadelphia. So we played at Dobbs on South Street.
Okay.
And aside from being, if not the very last band to play there before it shut down the last time, we were one of the last bands. But my parents were there. All of my friends that were local, people that I hadn't seen since maybe junior high, things like that. I used to race BMX, and some of my BMX buddies came out, and it was just everybody was there. Everybody knew my pop. It was that. Yeah, that was the Nirvana, and the show was good too. But all that stuff, and just that night, my wife was there.
Family, man.
Everything, that moment, that was the Nirvana.
I got chills, baby. You saying that, man? That's because I'm telling you, I picture everything. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Something.
Yeah. Well, man, listen. Really, there's a lot more stuff I want to ask you, but I want to really take the time to ask you. But I think we will end it here. And I just want to say, man, I just thank you so much for taking the time, because I know you're busy. I'm truly honored, man, when I say that, man, because ever since I met you, you've been one of the great human beings. And
we never even got to mention the times we got to play on stage together.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt.
I'm sorry, that's Nirvana.
Yeah.
I got to play with the Lord.
Hey, listen, I got to play with you guys, man, and I pray that I get a chance to really do something with Bones, man, and maybe even Robbie J, just the Miles of Mojo or whatever we do, man, and listen, we still really, I know we talked about some things previously, man, but we probably still need to get together and do some stuff. Because right now, man, I know Matt and I are really we're working on our new project now. We're deep into it, just like you are on Curt Taylor and the Riff Raff, indeed, man. But we're just handling business and just loving what we're doing, man. And so we will definitely just continue to stay in touch and do what we do, and everything's going to be
always.
We're going to work it out.
Much love. Thank you, Lord. Like
no. It's my pleasure. I'm honored. I say that honestly. I really do. The guests that I'm having on here have been the most wonderful people, and I'm just thankful. I always thank Bones and Rich and all of them for bringing me to it so that I got to meet all these individuals. I got to meet you. That's how I met you through those guys. So it's a beautiful thing for me. Beautiful thing.
All right,
so once again, thank you so much, man. I
thank you as well, man. And like I said, we'll stay in touch. And anything you ever need from me, man, just please never hesitate to pick up the phone.
I mean it. Same here, my brother. Same here. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, look how good this show was, man. Educating, entertaining. Man, this is Mr. Curt Taylor, man. He's hanging out with the Lord. Nelson, that is. On Live and Loud with the Lord. Take care, my brother. I really appreciate it.
Be good.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks, brother.
You